In today's video, we're going to discuss basic strategies for using eFLIP. And I say basic because we're only going to touch the first 3 filters within eFLIP. And what we're going to do is I want to talk a little bit about fishing at different depths. Now, I'm not much of a fisherman, so for those of you who are, please bear with me if my analogy breaks apart at some point. But the basic idea is, depending on the temperature of the water or what fish you're looking for, you're going to use bait at different depths in whatever body of water you're fishing in. And we're going to use that same philosophy here when it comes to eFLIP. So again, like I said, these are going to be basic techniques. We're only going to look at the first 3 filters here. We're just going to be looking at price. And most people, when they use eFLIP, they start with a very basic search. And they're going to be looking for books, let's say, between a penny and $1 used. And they're looking for books that are a little more expensive, let's say $30 or $40. New, and maybe Amazon's price. Again, Amazon's always our ceiling price. Maybe they're at $40. So this is kind of bottom feeding. This is the lowest hanging fruit. We're looking for books that we can spend $4 to $5 used. Again, these prices include, or you're going to have to add in $3.99 or roughly $4 of shipping. And again, we're looking for books that are relatively high. So this would be the lowest hanging fruit, or essentially fishing in the shallows, looking for something very simple. And we can just do this search. Now, I didn't pre-do these searches. I'm not going off something I just looked up, and I'm only showing you gems. We're going to go fishing together here, and whatever we find, we find. Now, when I come in here, I tend to sort by rank. I like looking at rank low to high. So we're going to do that, and we're going to go through some of the books. You can see some of these are gray, so I've clicked on them before. I did not pre-screen this search before we jumped in. I want to show you just a few examples of what's out there. Again, here's a penny book. We're going to click on the Prime link and see what the cheapest Prime offer is. Here's one where Amazon's extremely high. However, we're going to look at the sales rank history to see if this is a good flip. Looks like it sold once, twice in the last 3 months. If we zoom out to a year, we have a handful of other sales. So this may be a good book to flip, but I think we can do better. Let's keep looking. Again, I'm just going to work my way down the ISBN list, looking for larger gaps or higher prices with Prime. Here's a book. The bottom is dropped out. Jensen Books is typically a low baller, and we have a lot of options under $8, under $12. We're probably going to stay away. If you're a little more risky, you could actually wait till some of these guys sell out. And actually, the cheapest very good copy, some buyers don't care about conditions, some do, and they'll actually avoid the acceptable ones. It just depends on what buyer you're after. I found that when I price, I like to price typically in the lowest 5 offers, except for textbooks. And I don't really think condition matters that much, but you may think differently. If you want to wait and get a price here, the price does open up a fair amount. And if we zoom out to a year, this book is very seasonal. We see a lot of sales in January and February, as well as in August, September. So this is very much a textbook pattern. You could get risky and buy up a couple copies now, wait for textbook season to roll around, which is just about a month and a half away or so, and there's no problems there. That might be a good book to flip, but again, I think we can do better. Here's another book, and again, the cheapest option is $24.98. That's a good, and the second option is $195, which is maybe a little aggressive. We zoom out to a year, again, we see a handful of sales, not really in January, but a bunch in the textbook season in the fall. So maybe a fall semester textbook. We see a fair amount of action here. And if we want to keep using that fishing analogy, we're getting some bites over the past year. Let's see if that cheap option at 47 cents is still there. Looks like somebody beat us to the 47-cent option. However, we could pick up one for 75 cents. Now, I like books like this. Yankee Clipper is usually pretty good. I've had pretty good success buying their acceptable books. You can buy up the cheapest 2 copies in this case and actually move the market price back up to about $10 or $11, where it's been for many of the last couple months here. It's only recently the price has begun to tank. So we could actually buy up the lowest 2 copies here for about 75 cents plus the $4 shipping. And we could probably price these probably $39. I probably wouldn't get too aggressive here since it's not selling a lot. So I might match the lowest price at $24.98 or possibly go to $29 or $39. If we did that, again, we're going to be paying about $4.75 for these. It's a little heavier book, almost 3 pounds. And again, if we were able to price this at about $24.98, match the lowest Prime, we'd make a profit of $11 for a single click. And again, we're doing this twice. So we're hoping that we can get 2 sales. If you want to be a little more aggressive, priced at $29, you could make closer to $15. And $39, if you're willing to wait for the Prime person in front of you to sell it, you could get closer to $23. Now, I'm not going to buy any of these, so whoever happens to watch these videos first, you're welcome to copy these ISBNs and go find the books yourself. Let's go look at a few more. And again, we're fishing in the shallows. Here's a book. The cheapest prime prices start at $18, $19, $25. We're seeing a lot more sales action here. Amazon's held steady at about $47. The new price is about $35. So I like both of those. We zoom out to a year, and this book is just selling consistently. I don't see a big pattern in the fall or the spring. It's just selling consistently. So this would be a great book to flip. Several people are kind of clustered around this $25 price point. It's probably a very good area to be in. I personally like the $25 price point. So Bob and Rita, whoever you are, well done. Non-prime customers can still get free shipping for $25 when they're buying media or books. So that's a great price point. A non-prime customer may actually buy the $25 copy and skip the slightly cheaper ones just because they're going to get the free shipping. Let's see if the cheaper options are still here. And again, Amazon's prices are changing all the time. Again, we try and keep the prices updated as much as we can using trying to stay within Amazon's API limitations. We can see the market moved a penny, not a big deal. Again, there's several copies we could get from Better World Books, Atlanta Book Company. We can get several copies if you wanted, and then the price does open up to a couple of dollars within the first couple options. So if we were to buy this book for 35 cents plus shipping, it's going to come in at about $4.30. Again, it's a little heavier book, and I really like that $25 price point. If we were to do that, I could flip it, and even after paying myself back inbound shipping and Amazon's fees, I stand to make about $11 a book. And this one, with the sales volume, I'd have no problem buying 2 or 3 of these copies. I think you'd be able to sell them relatively quickly. And even if we had to drop the price and get it to about $18, we're still going to make over 100% return on our money. We're going to spend $4 and make about $5.50. So that's fishing in the shallows. What I want to encourage you to do then is, again, most people are comfortable spending $4 or $5 a book. If you're willing to spend a little bit more, you're getting into deeper waters, kind of uncharted territory. Some people aren't as comfortable spending more, and so you're going to have a little bit less competition. So let's bump this up a little bit. Let's look between $1 and $5. Because we're doing that, we're going to bump the new price up just a hair, and we're going to bump Amazon's price up just a hair as well. So instead of in the shallows, we're going one level deeper. I'm not quite sure what to call that, but instead of looking for bluegill, let's go look for some bass. Again, we're sorted by rank, low to high, so we're trying to find the best ranked books first. You can see, again, some of these I have looked at in the past. Some of these are brand new books. Here's a used copy for $2 on Jenny's First Year Latin. The cheapest prime is $9.99, and then there's a rental option, which I'm going to ignore. And then it jumps to $43. So this is very intriguing to me. The sales history is quite strong. I do see strong history in the fall. My hunch is we'll see that in the spring as well. Actually, not as much. We see, again, lots of sales in the off season, if you want to call it that. Definitely looks like a fall semester textbook, although it is selling in the spring semester and pretty much all the way throughout the year as well. Let's go see if that $2 option is still on the table, and it is. Now this is a wholesaler, Recycle a Textbook. They do a lot of book buybacks in colleges, and they have a whole team of textbook buyers as well. They're over in Kentucky. May contain heavy wear, excessive highlighting, writing, and or slight water damage. So mostly with textbooks, I don't really care about condition. However, I do stay away from the water damage, so I'm not going to buy that one. Glenn the Bookseller, a little more reputable. Again, I believe they're out of Illinois, and they sell a lot of books as well. That might be a good option for us to jump in and buy this copy for $10 plus the shipping. So we're going to spend about $14.60 for this copy. I could buy the Prime copy. Now, you're not allowed to buy Prime and use the Prime benefits for resale purposes. So some people have set up business accounts and you can get Prime shipping that way. Some people have said that if you don't get the free 2-day shipping, you'll be okay. If you want to be completely safe, again, I don't want to mess with Amazon and risk getting shut down. I'm just not going to buy the Prime offers. If you're comfortable doing it, go for it, but do so at your own discretion. I'm going to look at this copy for $10.60. We'll let the other Prime copy sell out at some point. So again, I'm going to spend about $14.60, and the cheapest then non-Prime option that's in decent shape is going to be all the way up here closer to $25 or $28 by the time you add in shipping. So we're going to spend $14.60. I'm going to try and price this. Let's just match the next lowest Prime at $43.10. Let's see how that shakes out. So again, I'm spending a lot of money. $14.60 is a lot of money to spend on a book. However, if we price this, what did we say, $43.10? If we come in here at $43.10, we're going to spend $14, we're going to make about $17. So again, you're looking at that and saying it's only 115% ROI. And again, I kind of laugh at the only. In this case, I'm more interested in the profit per book than I am the profit margin. So I can make that same click and I'm going to make about $17, and I'm relatively confident this book is selling often. That's a pretty fair price point considering the market price of this book is going to be closer to $25 or $28. So someone will pay that as a prime price, and I could probably even get higher and probably ignore the second lowest prime price and come in here. And if I was willing to do that and wait just a little longer to get the sale, I could come in at 56, 98. And again, you can see how that one click, now I'm getting closer to 200% return. I spend 14 and change, and I'm making $28 even after factoring in the cost of the book. So this is why I like to fish at slightly deeper depths. You're going to find some different books. Again, I found less competition in this range, as well as if you have the capital and you're willing to spend that money, you can make much more money per click if that's what you want to focus on. Let's look at a few more. Here's a $4 book. The cheapest prime is $145. And the reason why is it's not selling all that often. If we zoom out to a year, it's only selling a handful of times. Looks like a handful of times in the spring, maybe a spring semester book, design concept. So yeah, something along the textbook sign or educational text. But it's not selling a ton in the off season. Let's go look at the lowest used prices. Let's see if there's a handful or just an outlier. All right, so we have a couple outlier prices. Looks like the market price is closer to $15, $16. And actually goes up to $20 or $30 within the first 10 copies. If you're real bold, you could buy the market up. However, there's not enough volume to support that strategy. So maybe you could buy a copy and tuck it in. If there's copies at about $10 and it's not selling that often, I'm probably going to try and get $39. You could go aggressive. There's nobody selling it prime used. Maybe you could get $69, $79, $89. I think that's a little aggressive in my opinion. I'd probably stay away from this one personally. Here's another roughly $4 book where the cheapest prime, again, we'll ignore the rental, is about $16. There's probably not enough money in there, not enough meat on the bone, although their demand is very high. This is selling all the time. It's got a very strong textbook pattern. Let's look up a little bit, see if the prime prices open up. They don't. It's pretty much $20 to $25, and you can pick it up for about $4 or $8. And if we did that, let's say it was $8 and we sold it for $25, again, we'd make about $9 if we're able to do that. 100% return, again, not bad, but you're gonna have to wait for a number of people in front of you to sell out. And again, I think we can do better. Here's a $1 book, merchant fulfilled. Prime starts at 40, then 50, and Amazon's on it for 78. Again, we're looking at a little bit less demands. Again, a fair amount of demand in the fall semester. You can see the black line here, the used price jumped up, but it's not selling a ton in the off season. It still sells maybe once a month or so. So this might be a good flip. It'd be a little bit of a slow dime versus a fast nickel, but this is a book you could definitely pick up. It's interesting to know Amazon's been off the listing for about half a year and then just came back on at about 78. So again, if you wanted to, you could snag this book fairly cheaply, sit on it, and probably get 30, 40 bucks eventually, but you may sit on that for several months. All right, so we're looking for bass. Let's go a little bit deeper. So instead of 1 to 5, let's bump it up. Let's look at 10 to 20. We're gonna go in this range. And again, I know spending $15 to $25 on a book by the time you factor in shipping may seem high. However, once you get the hang of this, you may see that there's a little more opportunity up here. So we're going to look at used price. Again, we're not touching any of the other filters. We'll get into those with more advanced strategies. We're just going to be looking at the pricing filters here. So again, used price is 10 to 20. The minimum new price is at least 60, and Amazon's going to be at least 80. Let's see what pops up. Again, we've got several pages of results, which is great, and we're sorted low to high. And again, you could open this up and go to 500,000 or 1 million and find a lot more books that fit this criteria. I'm literally just looking for the easiest ones just to show you how this works. So here's some used copies at $14. Let's look at the cheapest prime options. Again, I'm ignoring the rental. Prime starts at about 18, and there's several of them. This is not a good flip. It's selling regularly. If I found this for $1 or $2 at a thrift store, I'm all over it. Very strong textbook patterns, and actually, the used price, well, Amazon stocked out in the spring, but the used price got up close to $200, and now it's kind of bottomed out. So I would venture to guess there's a new edition for this book. However, it's still going to be selling at least for a year or 2 or 3 to come. It's going to get less and less popular. Does this price open up? Not particularly. Looks like it's still under $30 prime, and I'm going to have to pay $14 or $15 merchant fulfilled. Again, not a lot of meat left on that bone. Here's a $20 merchant fulfilled book. Cheapest prime. There's a couple outliers here at 25, and then it opens up to 84. All right, so that's a good sign. Let's look at this. We're seeing pretty regular sales. Again, Amazon stocked out. That's the orange line in the backgrounds. Let's look at a year. I see pretty good sales January, February, so a little bit of a textbook pattern. August, September, not really. And it didn't really sell a lot in the spring semester, but we did get a mess of sales here in January, February. So this is intriguing to me. It might be worth looking at. Let's see if we can get a decent used copy. Okay, so good edition paperback, and this is a paperback book, so that's good. No supplements included. Again, with textbooks, I'm not really worried. Amazon kind of covers all of our hind ends by saying access codes and supplements are not guaranteed. So this would be a good book to buy. You have to wait for these two guys to sell out next, but they're next in line, and then the price does open up. Actually, merchant fulfilled opens up to about $40. So this one here, again, not an A+ flip, maybe a B or a C, but it's worth looking at. We're going to spend about $24, and it's a lighter book. We're going to spend about $24 to ship it in. By the time the next two lowball prime sellers sell out, the market price on this is going to be about $30 to $35. I have no problem asking for, in this case, probably $69 or $79. Let's say $79. You'd spend $24. Again, a lot of money to spend. But if you were able to get that $79 price point, you'd make a profit of $39 on one click and a little bit of prep work, or 163% ROI. Let's say the price dropped. We weren't able to get $79, but we got $59. That's going to be pretty close to our break-even point. So, I typed that into the wrong spot. Let's close out of this. Making a fool of myself here. Let's try again. All right, I'm spending 23 instead of 79. We're going to sell it for 59. If that's the case, I'm still going to make only a 93% ROI, but still $22 for that click. Let's say the price drops even further and I can only get 49. Again, I'm pretty confident I can get this price point at some point, especially with some probable demands coming up in the spring, and I can still make $13 or $14. Let's look at one more in this range. Here's a $20 book. The cheapest prime, again, I'm ignoring the rentals, is $47, so that's pretty good. And then it goes up to $50, $53, so kind of about $50, and this has all kinds of demand. So unlike the last one, this is even in the off season, the worst the rank was is 40 or 50,000. This book is selling all over the place. This is a great type of book to get in and out. Again, you could buy acceptable, and there's a really cheap price there. You could roll your dice. It's a newer seller. Looks like only 9 ratings, and one of them was negative. You could maybe roll the dice, see what you get there. Or if you wanted to, you could actually spend about $36 and get a good condition book. So let's say we spend $36. Let's just not be risky. Let's spend $36, and maybe we can get the $50 price point. There's probably not a lot of meat left on that bone. $36, let's just say $50. We're going to make $1.28. Unless you're getting really good credit card rewards on that purchase, I probably wouldn't go for that. Here's a $20 book. Cheapest prime is $37, then $40, and then it jumps way up. You can see Apex Media, they sometimes have multiple in stock. It looks like they have about 5 here, so you're going to have to wait for those to sell through. May not be worth it. Let's go look at one more depth. So maybe we're looking for sharks now. All right, so max used price, let's say we want to look $30 to $50. New, let's just get aggressive. I want the lowest new price to be $100, and I want Amazon to be on it for $125 or higher. Just as a reminder, let's say I wanted 120, I could do that. Again, you can type in any numbers you want and get as granular or as fine-tuned as you'd like in your searching. So here we're going to look for expensive books, $30 to $50, but new, they're over 100, and Amazon is at least 120. So and again, we're looking at rank low to high. So anything under 100,000 should be selling a couple copies in the last day to get it to drop to that rank. Here's a $30 book. The cheapest prime is also 30, and there's a couple of them. And this book's not selling a ton, so not a great candidate. Here's a $43 book where the cheapest prime is 123. So now we're talking. Again, I'm ignoring the rentals. I see a lot of sales, and I see a lot of sales in September. Let's zoom out to a year. I like this. It's really popular in January, really popular in September. So this has a good indication that it's a textbook type pattern. We can buy this and probably flip it for 123 if we match the lowest prime. Let's see if these cheaper options are still here. So $43 is there. Crappy books, you get what you order. Moderate highlighting, underlining, answers filled in. Crappy book, yeah, maybe we don't want to buy that. And by the time they move up, you're going to have to get up to $80. So maybe not a great candidate to flip anymore. In this case, though, a lot of times what I may do is I may track the product, and I'm going to put in my desired price here. I'm just going to leave Amazon's there. I'm going to say the new used price, alert me when it reaches $42.99. And I got my email there. Don't spam me too much, please. And what we're going to do is we're going to start tracking this. So if anybody, if like a brand new seller comes in and lists their book at $42.99, let's say they bought it for $1 at a thrift store and they just want to flip it and they didn't really realize the condition or the seller, if that happens, we'll get notified by Keepa automatically. We can come back in and buy that. That might be a great flip to come back to later. Here's a $33 book. The cheapest prime is just Amazon. Now this does come with an access card package. Again, I'm not terribly afraid of that. I'll just list it without it. This has a pretty good pattern in the spring and a pretty good pattern in the fall, but not much in between. You're really going to have to sell that during textbook season or maybe not at all. There are some copies left, good or very good. Of course, you're not getting the access code, but I'm okay with that. So we're going to spend about $39 to get this book. And let's just say we price it at $99 just to get it out the door and chase that next sale. So again, 2.5 pound book, we're going to spend about, what do we say? 35 plus 4, so about 39 bucks. And we're going to price it at 99. If that's the case, we'd spend 39, we'd make 39, 100% return, but more importantly, about $40 per click. So again, the old axiom, it takes money to make money, is definitely true. That you can start in the shallows when you're just learning how to use this, and as you build up your capital and build up your confidence, you can definitely come in and look for higher price books. Let's look at just let's look at just some crazy prices just for kicks. Let's look at books that are selling used all the way up to $99 and let's say between $79 and $99. Let's say new, they need to be selling for at least $200, and Amazon's price is going to be at least $200 as well. Let's just see if we can find anything here. I don't usually look this high. $100 is a lot to spend on a book, and you can see there's only a couple that meet that criteria in the database. Let's just see if any of them are good candidates. Here's an $85 book, Merchant Fulfilled, the cheapest prime, where it looks like the market pricing is about $125. If we're willing to wait for a couple to sell out, it does go up to Amazon's price at $300. And this has fairly good sales history. Let's see if the $85 book is still here. It is, however, it's an ex-library book. It's acceptable. I'm still fine buying those. Most students aren't going to care on a textbook. Just for kicks, let's see if there's any money to be made. We spend $85 plus shipping. This is a very expensive book. Again, it's important to note that, and eFLIP will calculate that in. Let's say we just got the lowest price of $120, we'd make $4. Interesting to note, though, if you're happy making that, you can make 3% or even 4 or 5% cash back. Amazon has some cards there. You could theoretically make $4 or $5 in tax-free credit card income on top of the $4 or $5 you made here. If these two people did, or actually 3, did sell out, maybe you got the $199 price point eventually. Again, there's not a lot of sales history to support that. Theoretically, you can make a pretty good return, but I'm not going to bank on that. Let's see if we get lucky here. $84, cheapest prime is $85, so that's not good. And another $85 book. Let's see here. Cheapest prime is about $103. Not a lot of meat on that bone. Let's see if it's selling enough to burn through these copies. And if we look at a year, it's got a fair amount of sales. That might be something to consider. We could probably get the $85 copy and flip it for about $149. But again, we're looking at an acceptable book, spine backed on moderate. So they kind of redid it, rehinged it. Probably not a good book to flip. All right, so hopefully that gives you an idea of again, some different fishing depths. I apologize for the length of this video, but I think it was important to go through it. Again, if you're watching this, and this is the day after Thanksgiving, actually, it's November 25 of 2016. If you happen to be watching this and liked any of those flips, feel free to type in the ISBNs you saw on the screen and go buy them for yourself. Otherwise, you can subscribe to eFLIP and have unlimited access to our entire database of books and textbooks, all included in the same price. CDs, DVDs, and vinyl for those of you who are approved to sell in those categories. That may be an option for you as well. Thanks for watching.